Hello everyone, Noreen here. Today I'm recording another special episode of In Conversation with, and today we're in conversation with Angela. Angela, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Noreen, and I should say a good morning to you. I know you're now in Spain, near Barcelona. I'm actually from Hong Kong. You can look at the beautiful landscape at the backdrop. It's not real, it's a photo, but it's one of my favorite photo because it's just showcase how beautiful the Hong Kong sunset is like. You were in Hong Kong before, so this is basically the island of Hong Kong Island between Hong Kong Island and Kowloon side. And in between is the very beautiful Hong Kong harbor. So I'm from Hong Kong, as I mentioned, and my last name is Lee, Lee. So my origins, as far as I know, is Hong Kong Chinese. Born, raised, educated all my life, most of my life here in Hong Kong. Very short time in Vancouver uh, after my first job because I need to immigrate there with my family. I was still single at that time. And then a very short time, 6 months in Grenoble, southern part of France, when I was studying university, brushing up my French, and then travel a little bit around Europe after that. So other than that, my whole life, I would say, Noreen, I am in Hong Kong. I'm still in Hong Kong, and I love Hong Kong. So that's me.
Thank you so much for that introduction. This is why I love chatting to you because I get to see that backdrop every time. You're absolutely right. I have been in Bangkok, Hong Kong. I've even lived there for a short period of my life, although I was very young at the time. But yeah, every time I come back to visit, I really just admired, like just yeah, astonished by the city. So yeah, thank you for always
Welcome
showing
back.
me
If
that
anytime,
picture.
anytime you want to come back and live as an adult, you're more than welcome. You have a friend here. It's me.
Thank
You know
you.
that.
And which brings me actually, I did want to share with the listeners like how we connected because we were just sharing this. It feels like we've known each other for a very long time, but we've actually only known each other for probably 2 years, mostly online. And then we did have the chance to finally meet once in person in Hong Kong when I got stuck in this city because of flight disruptions. And yeah, I did my coaching certification and you were one of our facilitators and it was just a beautiful experience. So thank you so much for guiding us through that.
Oh, that was amazing. Every time when I facilitate in this training or coaching certification workshop, I really felt I learned so much. I mean, you guys say you always learn a lot from us, but actually it's vice versa. I learn a lot from each and every participant because everybody brings their life, their experience, their background, their credentials, and a lot of times they bring in a lot of powerful questions for us as facilitators to answer, to give our response, and to share our experience in terms of coaching. So, with that note, I just want to share with everybody who's listening here. I consider myself a slash, like I'm doing quite a number of things, like you, Nori. I'm definitely a transformational coach. I call myself, that's my niche. I'm also a teaching faculty for an Australia coaching company, teaching the ICF accredited program. And I think for now, it's almost hit my 12-year mark. It has been a long time, a great journey. But every time when I teach the program, I don't feel bored. I don't feel like, oh, this is again the same thing. I never repeat myself. I didn't realize uh, all the questions that were asked and the content. And that's the reason why I'm so intrigued by the work I'm doing now. Coaching, one-on-one, teams, even organizational coaching, helping them to build a coaching culture. And my background is quite diverse. I worked in all three sectors, public, private, and NGO. Most of the companies are private, I must say, but I have bumped into two companies that are NGO. One is NGO, one is public. And that was my last job with the corporate world before I stepping into the current role I'm having 12 years ago, 2014, when I found the love of my life, which is my own little practice as coach, as workshop leadership facilitator, and sometimes I do some human capital consulting work. And of course, I love opportunities like that, whereby I'm in conversation with someone like you, because when I was young, I loved to be a radio host, but never really pursue that career. So I'm trying to take hold of this opportunity, either audio and face to face or whatever the platform is. I just love to share and communicate and having a dialogue with interesting people like Noreen today. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And I have a word for you, Angela. You are a multi-passionate individual.
Multi-passionate. Multi, M-U-L-T-I, you mean?
Multi-passionate. So instead of the slash, you're like, you have multiple different passions. So you can really like spread yourself across various
Oh,
different
yes, one
areas.
last thing, my passion.
Yes.
Can
Oh,
you
there we
see?
go. Yes.
Love to lead, lead with love, finding your true north in life. And this is my first book ever, published in 2021 on my birthday, December 28th. And I was so proud because my dad was with me in the book launch. We were still wearing masks in those days because it's still kind of COVID times. But a lot of my friends came and supported. And some of the book revenue will be donated to the Orbis, the Flying Eye Hospital that I used to work or help to found in Hong Kong. And I felt so grateful I could do that. And the online copy and the audiobook was published in 2022. And right now, the hard copy is in the Library of Hong Kong, 2 libraries. So I'm very grateful and feel very blessed that I'm not a native speaker of English. I don't even have an editor, can you imagine? But it's just my little story of my life, about love, about leadership, about coaching, about relationship, about family. And what I want to bring to the readers are how our life can intertwine with different people. When we met them, there's for a reason. It's not a coincidence. And we learn from each other. And these stories is not about me, it's about them. But through their stories, how they have impacted my life to become a better version of myself is utmost important. And some people who read this book, either they know me or they don't know me, they always said, I felt like you're speaking or talking to me. Wow. I said, that means they felt resonated with the stories. That meant I'm really real and authentic when I'm writing those. So that's one of the legacy I really want to leave behind. And I really enjoy writing it. It's not a matter of successful or not, it's a matter of the process and how much I enjoyed it and how much I can be myself from writing it. To me, actually, Noreen, think about it, it's very therapeutic. All those stories are real stories, family and everything. So that's in another nutshell about me, this book.
You're
Thank
also
you.
an author. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm still thinking of writing my second and third one. The book name is there, but I still need to spend time working on it. I'll
You'll
let you
find
know.
it. You'll find it.
Yes, yes, yes.
And so speaking of book, author, it is about legacy, which is what you were talking about. So what is it about legacy? What is leaving a legacy? What does that mean to you?
Great question, Noreen. I think people starting to ask that question to themselves. It's not even about how old you are when you ask that questions, but it just sting on me when I was reading the book Halftime. Long time ago, I forgot when, probably still in my mid-career. Someone just gave me that book. And I started thinking about, oh goodness, Halftime still seem far away. But what should I do if I reach my halftime? And what do I want to be remembered for? And, I don't know what I'm really getting into. I felt everything comes to a halt. Like I need to stop, press the pause button, and ask myself, what is life meant to be? What do I really want to achieve? And what does success look like? Or even is success important? Especially I have no children. And I don't really know what I want to leave behind. But one thing I'm very certain, I was looking for it. I was looking for something that is important to me in a more of a sustainable way. And then I realized my values, my top 3 values: authenticity, love, and wisdom. How can I embrace those top 3 values and live it out day in, day out until the day I leave this world? And I really want to leave those spirits behind, especially I know authenticity or even love is not commonly talked about or even openly shared. as something people would say, oh, those are my important values. But that is who I am. So this book is one of the legacies I want to leave behind, but more so I want to leave behind the positivity and helping people to learn more about who they are through the work I'm doing. So the question of who am I is very important. And once you have that answer, probably the next step is like, what do you want to be remembered for? Is that spirit, that intangible, rather than the money, the estate, the fame, the glory. I don't think that is as important as the positive momentum or whatever you believe in, you want to share with others and lift them up to be the better version of themselves.
It's a really important question. Who am I? And I find when I do ask that question, people do get stuck with it, right? And
It's a
I
big
think
question.
it is a very big question. And sometimes our default is to go to our titles, but we're more than our titles, right? What it's like you're saying, it's the intangibles.
Is what represent us from here, from the
Yeah.
heart, and how we express it from outside, and how we can congruent with the in and the out. And when you are very comfortable with yourself and you're congruent, that's where the real true self and the authentic nature of one's leadership or personality come out. And then
Mhm.
people would feel it very connected and feel that you're very credible. So there's no fixed answer or right or wrong. Everyone is different because we are unique human being in this world. Even twins are not the same. So if you look at that, we need to live out that uniqueness of who we are
Mhm.
and the calling. Don't think of it as a big word. It's our calling. Do you need to save the world or something? It can be as simple as just to be the best version of yourself and how it can impact people's lives and what do you want to impact them with and what you want to be remembered for. So in my 80th birthday, maybe, Noreen, I know you're still far from it. I'm not that far, a bit far, but you are much further off than me.
I'm at my midway point.
Come on, still have a long way to go. So on your 80th birthday, when people come to your birthday, what do you want them to say about
Yeah.
you, to thank you with? I think that is the end game. And then you look back and maybe you can then start pursuing your life towards that end game. I'm trying to do that as much as I can because you don't know how long, right? Everyone would never know when they
We do
come
not know.
here and when you leave this world.
No, that is absolutely true. Um, and this segues nicely into the next question. And you were talking about that just a moment ago. It's like, how can we impact people's lives? And I had this also moment a couple of years ago. I think it was like 2018, maybe 19. I was just, ha like taking stock, and I was like, what am I going to remember for? How am I going to make an impact? What am I doing that's going to make that impact? And yeah, I really resonated with me. So, but why is making impact important to you?
I think it's because everyone wants to feel that they're here for a reason. They want to bring value to one another. I think that's part of human nature to feel that they are still needed, they are wanted, they are helpful, they're contributing to the world or to the society or the organization or to others or even to families. Once you switch off that and felt like I'm of no use, that's the time when people say bye bye to the real world, isn't it? So to me, I wouldn't think of myself as, oh, I'm going to save the world, I'm going to make any big impact because I'm so and so, I have done this and that. I would think of it in a small way, Noreen, because of the work I'm doing. Like a lot of times I'm doing one-on-one coaching and I'm working with these leaders, be it male, female, whatever nationalities, because English is the international language. And I speak, my mother tongue is Cantonese, and I also do Mandarin coaching. So probably the people I'm reaching out to through my coaching can be quite diverse. And during those one-on-one, even for 1 hour, 1.5 hours, or even 45 minutes, that moment of time you're with this person, you're making an impact. If you choose to make an impact, if the other person is willing to allow you to come into their space and make that impact. So that's why I love coaching, because by practicing deep listening and being in the moment and being present for the person, regardless who they are, what they have at that moment, you just ask questions in a positive, with positive inquiry and appreciation, and with that curiosity of allowing the person to see more of themselves, to find out possibilities that they never even thought of can be an answer, can be the option for them to move forward. So
Mm.
to me, Noreen, I'm making an impact, and people gave you feedback after that. And it's always gratifying to read feedback after the journey and they write you really nice things. Touch my heart. It's much worth than what you're being paid for. It's not the money that counts anymore. I think what is more sustainable is that is what I call impact. It's not by paying someone to say you do this. It's actually by allowing them to find out their own answers, by allowing them to explore about themselves in a very safe space. And you're just holding that space for them to make them feel at that moment they're the most important people or person in the world. And that's one-on-one. And sometimes I deliver my own workshop, or I deliver workshop for clients, which are designed by them. And it's more than one people normally. It's like a group of 10, 12, or even more people. I do the same thing. I still put on my coaching approach head on. Whatever I'm sharing or facilitating, I still try to ask questions to allow them to dig deeper to the truth of what really meant, what is important to them. And I think end of the day, it's the heart that matters.
Mm.
So I think it's that gratification and that learning and the inspiration that people got through that dialogue. And I got inspired as well through what they share with me. So this two-way dialogue allows learning for me and for others. And I think that's impactful in a very sustainable and also in an intangible way.
Mm.
Not sure whether I've answered the question, but when you ask me that question, it's a great question again, Noreen. Why more to having impact? And I think the real reason behind it is I also want people to feel positive, to feel energized, to move forward, because the world needs more is love and that
Mm.
connection,
Mm.
that human touch, which AI cannot replicate or completely substitute.
No, absolutely not. Um, and I'm sure you have inspired many people to the work that you're doing, or I love how you described that you're making that other person, feel like they're the most important individual at that moment. And you get inspired by those conversations too. So let me ask you my final question, which is who inspires you?
Wow, I love that question. But I get a bit sentimental with that, because the first person I would definitely have in my mind is my late dad. He passed away just 2 years ago. I mean, slightly less than 2 years, by August 15. It will be exactly 2 years. And he was 88 when he passed away, just past his birthday. Um, and he is always the man that I look up to as the role model, not just because of he's such a good father for the family. He he brings in everything for the family just by himself. He has 4 children, and I'm the eldest. So he inspired me by always believing in me more than I believe in myself. He always trusts in my decision. No matter what road I'm taking, he was always say, go for it. I know you can do it. The only time he said no to me is when I was in my primary six, grade six, and moving up to grade seven, to secondary school. I was wanting to study French instead of Chinese. I want to drop my Chinese because the French teacher is much more handsome, much more attractive, nice guy. And the Chinese teacher, I don't like her. So I told my Dad, can I just switch my language to English and French instead of English Chinese? That was the only one time in my whole life, Noreen, that he said, sorry, no. And he kind of like very strong words. And he said, you are Chinese. You can't not know the language. I
Mm.
don't care outside you study French, but you have to study Chinese as one of your key language. And now I look back, I thank him. Otherwise, now sitting here looking like Asian Chinese, with the China market coming on, I couldn't read and write Chinese. That would be really bad. Probably I won't be sitting, I'll be in France probably.
Mm.
Who knows, right? So he's the number one person. And the second person I would want to say is actually, I don't even know this person, but his book has been my greatest inspiration, even when I write my first book. And this man is called Victor Frank. I'm not sure whether you heard of him. His book has inspired me. I have underlined each word almost of his book, a very thin book, Man's Search for Meaning. Look it up if you want to. It's very light read, but inside the message is very heavy because how he survived in a Nazi concentration camp. He's one of the few person who have survived, and he's a doctor. He's psychiatrist. So I think his book came out to be one of the core, I would say, foundation for positive psychology and resilience. And it's called Man's Search for Meaning. And he is an inspiration to me. I would never be able to meet him because we are not of the same generation, and I would have never chance to really speak to him in person. But when I read his book, it's the one of the books I actually feel that I almost underline every word. And I cry. I read many times, I still cried. And one of the things I want to quote, one of the things he wrote is don't aim at success. The more you aim at it and make it a target, the more you're going to miss it. For success, like happiness, cannot be pursued. It must ensue. And it only does so as the unintended side effects of one's dedication. In the long run, I say, success will follow you precisely because you had forgotten to think about it. So he has in his book and his writing and his real, really very, very tough. I don't know how he can get through that. Has inspired me to become a better version of myself and not giving up, no matter how hard times is. Because I believe our challenges, whatever we are facing, is only to make us, to build us to be a better person. It's almost like gold. The more you refine it, the more purity it gets. So that's why I love his book, and I would consider he's one of the inspirations besides, of course, God. But I won't talk about religion here. So those two person, right away, if you ask me this question, are always in my mind when I am in tough times, and they give me a lot of positive energy to whatever I face and the work I'm doing. Thank you for that great question. All the questions are great anyway, Noreen. I love
Thank
that.
you, Angela. This conversation was really, truly beautiful and inspiring. So thank you so much for taking the time to share your wisdom with us.
Well, I think everyone has wisdom. I'm just sharing a little bit of mine, but I enjoy that dialogue because the questions you gave me also, inspired me to think even more.
Hmm.
How can I do more with less of my time? Because
Hmm.
time is running short, right? The day is counting down, and make best use of every minute. So like this conversation with you is so worthwhile and so meaningful. But thank you again, Noreen, for inviting me to your space in conversation with you, and I love it. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.